That's good.
Test. This is where. Let's just take these cards out. Pardon me. Sorry.
Hello.
All right, we'll call the order the Douglas County Board of Commissioners meeting for Douglas County, Nebraska for Tuesday, September 16th, 2025. Please note that a copy of the Open Meetings Act is located on the north wall of the Legislative Chamber alongside an automatic external defibrillator. Please stand for the pledge. All right. Before jumping into Board of Equalization, Commissioner Borgeson has requested a quick moment. This are items A and B. A being the approval of the minutes of the Board of Equalization meeting held Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. B being a call for a meeting and set Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025 as a date for hearing on certified assessment corrections reflecting the addition of omitted property to the tax rolls or increased value on property. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Motion by Morgan, second by Rogers to approve A and B. Please vote.
And we'll have to do
voice vote.
Yep, we'll do a voice vote today. And for those watching at home, usually the voting results appear on the screen, but that is due to technical difficulties. That's not going to happen today. Commissioner Borgeson.
Yes.
Commissioner Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Commissioner Fahey.
Yes.
Commissioner Friend.
Yes.
Commissioner Morgan.
Yes.
Commissioner Rogers. Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Next, we have our resolutions under equalization, items C through E, which we can take in group plus adjournment if desired.
Second.
Motion by Rogers, second by Morgan to approve C through E plus adjournment. Was there anybody that wanted to comment on equalization resolution C, D, or E? If not, we'll go ahead and vote.
Commissioner Borgeson.
Yes.
Commissioner Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Commissioner Fahey.
Yes.
Commissioner Friend.
Yes.
Commissioner Morgan.
Yes.
Commissioner Rogers. Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. That adjourns equalization. Next, we have our Douglas County Board of Corrections. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Borgeson. Commissioner Kavanaugh.
Here.
Commissioner Fahey.
Here.
Commissioner Friend.
Here.
Commissioner Morgan.
Here.
Commissioner Rogers. Mr. Chair.
Here. All right. With corrections, we have approval of the minutes of the Board of Corrections meeting held Tuesday, August 19th, 2025. I'll take a motion for that. Motion by Rogers, second by Friend. Please vote on the minutes.
Commissioner Borgeson. Commissioner Kavanaugh. Commissioner Fahey. Commissioner Friend. Commissioner Morgan.
Yes.
Commissioner Rogers. Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Item 2 is our report from the Director of Corrections, or today, Ms. Redmond.
Good morning.
Morning.
Amber Redmond, Deputy Director of Corrections. Director Myers is out of town today, and I'm happy I don't have to yell the report at you this morning. Thank you for taking a few moments out to recognize Captain West. It's been a tough couple of months without him at the facility, but he is a tough cookie, and he has started to join some of our meetings remotely, so he can certainly use all the well wishes. We appreciate that.
Excuse me. Amber, we're having a little difficulty with stuff. Could you
Is
speak
that
up?
any better? Is that any better? Should we put them together? I'll try and talk a little louder. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, here to deliver the Board of Corrections report for the month of August 2025. I do have some good news regarding the budget. Following the second month of our fiscal year, we are actually under budget by $708,117. Upon leaving the Board of Corrections report last month, I went back and wanted to dive further into those numbers because they seemed unusually high. It's one thing to come in over budget. It's another thing to come in significantly over budget, as we reported last month. And we were able to uncover an error in reporting with the help of the clerk's office. So there's a long explanation for it, but the short version of that is that they were accounting for an additional payroll in our month that actually belonged to the prior fiscal year, so it has something to do with the switching over in the fiscal years. We were able to get that straightened out, so not only are we under budget this month, we were in fact under budget last month as well. We did spend $568,516 on overtime costs in August. That is a significant increase, but it's largely attributed to having 3 payrolls during the month of August. Our records office collected over $840,000 in bond payments. 2 officers below the rank of sergeant left employment in August. We do plan to have a smaller cadet class in the 4th quarter of this year due to improved officer retention. As of August 30th, by the end of the month, we were 102% staffed among all correctional officer ranks. That does include the 22 people that we had sitting in the academy. We did just graduate them last Friday. 21 officers graduated from that class, so they are currently going through their FTO program and will soon be on their own. Moving on to enclosure 2, the CJC numbers remain consistent. We admitted 20 individuals to work release. House arrest admitted 45 individuals and another 21 individuals to the RAP program. Not much has changed in regard to the therapeutic community housing units. Those numbers remain consistent, admitting 60 individuals to those communities last month. We do currently have 116 individuals on the GED waitlist. That waitlist continues to be long. We do have 72 active students, and 5 individuals were able to achieve their GED last month. Looking at the pretrial services number, you guys may recall last month we saw record high in many of these numbers. So these numbers are slightly down. We had 297 individuals placed on pretrial release last month. We were monitoring a total of 1,397 individuals on supervised pretrial release. Last month that number was just slightly higher at 1,453. We have 623 individuals on the 24/7 program. Last month, those numbers were 634, so not a significant decrease there. And last month, we had 211 people on GPS monitors. That would have been during the month of July, whenever I say last month. So during the month of August, we had 190 individuals on GPS monitors. We've been talking about this pretrial release software for a couple of months now. We are getting closer to that go-live date that is slated to happen next month on October 14th. So we're excited for that go-live. I'm sure there's going to be a few hiccups we need to work through, but we're all looking forward to some of the enhanced reporting that we intend to get from that release of the new software. Moving on to enclosure 3, I think the only thing of significance there is last month we had one of the PREA bids on the consent agenda, which you all gave us permission to go ahead and proceed with. So we'll be working with that vendor to put together a contract. That PREA audit is slated to occur late this year or early next year. Moving on to enclosure 4, we admitted 1,455 people last month, releasing nearly the same amount at 1,443. We had a slight change in our average daily population, coming in at 1,093 individuals, which was a decrease of 17 from last month. Our length of stay remains about the same. It's averaging 24 days. We did see a drop in the number of people serving custodial sanctioned bed days, 45. So we came in at 66 bed days for custodial sanctioned bed days there. Moving on to enclosure 5, items worth noting were we had 4 911 emergency transports, so 4 people went out by 911. We did end up with 9 hospital admissions and a total of 40 days of hospitalization. In good news, we didn't have to administer any doses of Narcan or Opvee last month. Moving on to enclosure 6, CNT was deployed 5 times during the month of August, and there's a short summary of those events there. And our CERT team was also deployed 3 times during the month of August, also provided you with a short summary of those incidents in the report. Moving on to enclosure 7, we did receive 109 applications for correctional officer positions, so those continue to come in strong. We are in full interview mode trying to make our next cadet class for the 4th quarter. So we conducted 50 interviews during the month of August. As I've already mentioned, we did have 22 cadets in that cadet class. We graduated 21. TAP training continues to evolve, working in some of our non-custody staff. They're also taking a self-defense version of TAP, and we've just started that training for those individuals. And looking at the last bullet point there, tomorrow we are going to have our first corrections wellness fair. This is something that our wellness and retention officer, Bill Young, has been working on for several months. So we're excited to set up some vendors and have people available for our correctional officers. We'll keep you posted on how successful that is. Then moving on to the other noteworthy items, we are still taking a look at some of our staffing. It is a tight budget year for us, so while we are well under budget at this time, we are proactively trying to go leaner where we can without major changes underway. And we are moving forward with our laundry project. That was one of our proposals during our budget this year. We got the modifications outlined for us from the contractors, and we've kind of talked about this before. We anticipate some initial expenditures for that project, but once that's all fully completed, we will have an ongoing savings of over $100,000 annually as we move those laundry services in-house. Okay, with that, I'm taking any questions.
All right. Thank you so much, Deputy Director Redmond. We'll go into some dialogue, starting with Commissioner Kavanaugh.
Thank you for this. I just want to commend you and the department. We talked last time about having a look back on some
sure.
of these, and I note that that's in here. It really helps us to be able to look at, say, overtime and see that August 24th number and the August 25th number. And, you know, just kind of regarding these things, we also have a look back metric on staffing. And the current staffing is very good at 101% of the authorized levels. But you kind of try to look for, if staffing is 100%, should overtime be high or low, or, you know, higher or lower? And ideally, it's been the thought, if we have adequate staff, we'll have less overtime. I'm looking at the staffing thing, which is, like I said, you know, fully staffed, and then the overtime thing, looking back a year, and it seems to be, correct me if I'm wrong, just a little higher August 25 to August 24 on overtime.
Yeah.
And I don't expect you to have a ready answer on this, but I guess the question would be, if we have adequate staffing, up to our authorized level, is there something seasonal going on with overtime? I know August is a time when a lot of people maybe take vacations and stuff like that.
Sure. I mean, that's going to be a contributor, but it's primarily because of having 3 pay periods during the month of August. So on an average, the overtime costs are pretty similar to what we've had in other months, but because we're accounting for 3 pay periods during the month of August, you're always going to kind of see that spike in the months where we have 3 pay periods. Unfortunately, at our facility, we're always going to have some overtime while we're adequately staffed for our, traditional posts that are manned by officers. We are in the middle of a big construction project right now, and we're doing an unusually number of high training hours as we're filtering those officers through the TAP training,
Okay.
replacing that use of force.
The other kind of a new thing on here, I like it, is the officers out for training, and we captured that metric here where it looks like, if I'm reading this right, the training in June of 24 was a total of 4,400 hours, and the training of August of 25 was 2,500 hours, a reduction. We have a dollar amount for the August training number, but we don't for the June, and I presume that's June 24.
Yes.
But it doesn't specify. If we could, so that we have a month-to-month specification of that cost. Again, less overtime, less cost. And so we're trying to capture that. And if people are out for training, that's also a contributor to overtime, I would think.
Sure.
I'm probably going to have to come back, but the average daily population down a little at 1093. That's good. Average length of stay, 24 days, with 52% staying 72 hours or less. And we'll have to look at the demographics here when I come back. I think we're about where we were, but that's, again, beyond your control.
Sure.
So I appreciate the additions to the report. It makes it clearer and easier for us, and I'll come back on my second round and we'll go into that demographic thing. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yep.
Thank you. Anybody else on Board of Corrections reports? If not, we'll loop back around to Commissioner Kavanaugh, and then we'll go Larry.
Thank you. And frankly, I don't have the demographic thing at my hand. Do you know what page that is?
There's a summary of it on page 2 of 53 at the very bottom with the percentages of our population.
Okay. It says 65% of our population were minorities, but where's the breakout?
We may need to look in the admissions enclosure.
That's enclosure number 4, right? I'm seeing it on page 43. I have it here. Okay. So just to recap, the August 25 demographic race percentages are 44% African Americans, 14% Hispanic, Native Americans at 3, Asians at 3, others at 1, and Caucasians at 35%.
Yes.
So roughly what we've been seeing within a few
Consistent.
percentage points.
Yeah.
Overwhelmingly majority in our correction center. We appreciate these reports and appreciate your updates on these. And one last thing, my understanding is with the population down, we have, I don't know how you would call it, unutilized mod space. Would that be accurate?
We have, I believe, 1 housing unit closed at this time.
Okay.
Yes.
And how many beds would that be?
Depends on the units that's closed. I think it's one of our smaller units that we have closed at this time, so we may be around 32 beds in that particular housing unit.
Okay. And the overall authorized capacity of the correction center is what?
1453 are the number of beds. We're never going to be able to utilize all of those beds because of the number of individuals that have to be placed on house alone. They can't have a roommate, but
We have that. We have gender differences. You have to have, females and males housed separately. So it would be rare that you actually would get to that because of the distribution of our population. We understand that.
Yep.
It's always best to have a lower population, and, we've got that going for us right now. So that's a good thing.
Yep.
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Anybody else on corrections report? Larry?
Good morning. Thank you. I have a couple of questions. Larry Store, 5115 Lafayette Avenue, Omaha, 68132. I was going through your report last night, a very good report. I do have a question. People under the care of Douglas County that are on probation, let's say because they pleaded no contest, are they not offered some of the classes and assessments and things that they would get if they were actually locked up on the premises? Did you understand my question?
You're asking if they qualify for classes through probation?
Yes.
That'd be a better question for probation. I'm not familiar with their services.
Probation's not under Douglas County then?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else on corrections reports? Commissioner Kavanaugh, did you want a third 2-minute round? I see your light on, so.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay. In that case, I think we'll conclude corrections report. Thank you so much, Ms. Redmond. Appreciate it. With that, I can take a motion for adjournment of corrections.
Second.
Motion by Rogers, second by Morgan. Please vote.
Commissioner Borgeson? Yes. Commissioner Kavanaugh? Yes. Commissioner Fahey? Yes. Commissioner Friend? Yes. Commissioner Morgan?
Yes.
Commissioner Rogers? Yes. Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Next, we're going to go into Douglas County Board of Commissioners. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Borgeson? Present. Commissioner Kavanaugh? Here. Commissioner Fahey? Here. Commissioner Friend? Here. Commissioner Morgan? Here. Commissioner Rogers? Here. Mr. Chair?
Here. All right. First item of business are items 1A and B. A being the approval of the minutes of the Board of Commissioners meeting held Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. And B being approval of claims submitted for payment process through Tuesday, September 16th, 2025. Do I have a motion and a second for both?
Second.
Motion by Rogers, second by Morgan. Please vote.
Yes. Commissioner Kavanaugh? Yes. Commissioner Fahey? Yes. Commissioner Friend? Yes. Commissioner Morgan?
Yes.
Commissioner Rogers? Yes. Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Next, we have our consent agenda, items 2A through through 2A to 2H, excuse me. All right. Do I have a motion and second for consent agenda? Motion by Morgan, second by Rogers. All right. Comments and questions on consent agenda? If not, we'll vote.
Commissioner Borgeson? Yes. Commissioner Kavanaugh? Yes. Commissioner Fahey? Yes. Commissioner Friend? Yes. Commissioner Morgan? Yes. Commissioner Rogers? Yes. Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Very good. And let me check here if my friend, Mr. Jose Garcia, is here for the next item. We're going to jump to Section 5, Recognition and Proclamations. We have one item, item A, a resolution proclaiming September 15th, 2025 to October 15th, 2025 as National Hispanic Heritage Month in Douglas County, coinciding with the federal level for Hispanic Heritage Month. So we have our good friend and local historian who archives so much of our history here in Omaha, Douglas County, for the local Hispanic Latino community, South Omaha, and Omaha overall, and helps to run the Immigrant Museum here locally. So he is going to help me read the resolution that we have today with this proclamation. But first, I do want to explain a little bit that why does Hispanic Heritage Month fall on September 15th? Our good friend, Mr. Garcia here, brought a poster that lists all of the Independence Days for the different Latin American countries. And many of them had a September 15th, September 16th Independence Day that happened primarily in the 1800s. So the Spanish conquest happened in the 1500s, and then many of the countries remained colonies until the 1800s. And so they proclaimed their independence, many on that day, September 15th. That is why Hispanic Heritage Month tends to start on that day, locally and federally. And so we will go ahead and acknowledge that history and the contributions of our local Hispanic Latino community in Douglas County with this proclamation. So, Mr. Jose Garcia, if you want to briefly introduce yourself and kick us off.
Yeah, Jose Francisco Garcia, 816 North 34th Street. Whereas National Hispanic Heritage Month, known as El Mes de Herencia Hispana, is celebrated nationwide from September 15th through October 15th each year. The observation started in 1968 as Hispanic Heritage Week and was expanded by President Ronald Reagan in 1988 to cover the entire month, and it is now commemorated. And whereas understanding that September 15th is significant because it is the anniversary of independence from Spanish rule for the Latin American countries of Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. In addition, Mexico and Chile celebrate their Independence Days on September 16th and 18th respectively. And whereas Latinos y Latinas continue to shape our nation across the sectors of business, education, healthcare, agriculture, and also within the U.S. military, such as the two Hispanic individuals honored in this very legislative chambers, being Medal of Honor recipients, Private First Class Edward G. Gomez and Lance Corporal Miguel Hernandez Keith. And
whereas National Hispanic Heritage Month celebrates the histories, cultures, and contributions of those living in America who have ancestry from Spain due to the Spanish conquest of Latin America during the colonial period from the 16th to the 19th centuries. And whereas the Heritage Celebration provides an opportunity to highlight the diversity of the Hispanic Latino community, which also includes heritages woven in and that encompasses African cultures, Native Indigenous peoples of the Americas, present before the Spanish conquest, and peoples from across the entire world, making for a unique and rich Latino community that contributes greatly to both the United States, to Nebraska, and also Douglas County. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners, Douglas County, Nebraska, that this board hereby proclaims September 15, 2025 to October 15, 2025 as Hispanic Heritage Month in Douglas County, Nebraska, dated this date, the 16th day of September, 2025, signed by the Board of Commissioners. So, thank you, Mr. Garcia, for that. We'll take a motion in a second.
I'll move it.
Motion by Borgeson and Kavanaugh, and second by Morgan. And we'll have a quick comment here. Obviously, I share in this heritage, proudly so. I have a father from Mexico and a mother from Honduras, Central America, who grew up in extreme poverty in their childhood and didn't make it past the 5th grade, but they still hustled and had a strong work ethic and wanted to provide for a better future for myself and their children. And so they were able to make it north to Los Angeles originally, where my parents spent some time, where I was born. And my father, again, with his 5th grade education, he created companies. He claims to be the first company in Los Angeles that was selling VHS tapes of Mexican movies. He would go to Mexico, buy the copyrights of those movies, and bring them back to Los Angeles and sell the VHS tapes. So he kind of claims to be the first blockbuster for the Hispanic community. I guess it's an urban legend at this point. I don't know if it's true or not, but he did have several video stores for sure. Whether he was the first or not, I'm not sure. But he had several video stores in Los Angeles back in the 60s and 70s. He started up restaurants. He had a big lamp company and created like chandeliers for a long time. Eventually, him and my mother split. My mom had a cousin in Schuyler, Nebraska, so we moved to Schuyler, where many immigrants have been attracted to Nebraska for the agricultural and meatpacking industry. So I was a part of that, migration in the 80s and 90s, where a lot of immigrants came to work in the meatpacking industry. So my mom did work that hard labor. I remember she'd go in at 4 a.m. every day and work in the freezer. So it was quite cold where she was working, and it was hard labor for sure. She was then able to get a job in Columbus, Nebraska at Del Vichet, where they inspect little electronic parts. And then at BD, where they inspect syringes and create syringes for the medical field. And so she was hustling and doing side jobs, baking cakes and cutting hair and all sorts of stuff. So it's that immigrant kind of story, not that doesn't just belong to Latinos, but so many immigrant waves that have come through, especially South Omaha, with the Italians, Germans, Czechs, and the list goes on, right? And it's that immigrant work ethic that I think makes us strong as a community, with those family values, faith values that all come in that profile. So the last thing I'll say before I talk too much is that the beauty of the United States of America and why we love the United States of America so much is the opportunity that this country gives to all who come here. And just a super quick example of that beauty and opportunity is just the fact that in one generation, where my parents were not able to make it past the 5th grade, because for my mom, once you go to middle school, you got to pay for your own books and your own school uniform, and the family could not afford that. And for my dad, he had to go into the big city of Mexico City and start working as a boy to help his mom because his dad, my grandpa, passed away when he was only 5. And so didn't make it past the 5th grade. But in one generation, me as their child here in the United States of America, where I was born and grew up, I was able to get the first one to get a high school diploma, the first one to get a bachelor's, a master's, and a doctorate in one generation, because this country gives that opportunity and supports, like scholarship programs and Pell Grants and stuff like that, and access to education in general. It's not perfect. A lot of us have student debt as well, but the fact that there are resources and opportunities and access in this country is a beautiful thing. Sure. And that is encompassed in my immigrant story with my parents and me being the first generation to be born here in the U.S. So that's just a quick tidbit. Douglas County has 80,000 Hispanic Latinos contributing to our local economy and making this community beautiful overall, with all cultures woven into what is Douglas County. And so I thank you, Mr. Jose Garcia, as one of our veteranos, one of our individuals who we respect very much in our community and does so much in our community. You and Linda Garcia, your amazing wife, who contributes to the arts and culture of our community as well. So I thank you both.
Muchas gracias. Thank you to the commissioners. We are third generation Raza. My people came over in 1917, stayed for a little bit in El Paso, and then moved to Kansas City, Missouri. We now represent a large majority of Mexican Americans in the United States. And thank you so much for the support that the Douglas County Commission has provided the South Omaha Museum of Immigrant History. We are probably part of the greatest movement of humanity across national borders that the world has ever seen. And we are moving towards a future that is strong, that is United States of America and that will continue in perpetuity. Que viva the United States of America.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. We do have a motion and a second on the table. We'll go ahead and vote.
Commissioner Borgeson. Yes. Commissioner Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Commissioner Fahey.
Yes.
Commissioner Friend.
Yes.
Commissioner Morgan.
Yes.
Commissioner Rogers. Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. And in case you're wondering, we're not related. Garcia is kind of like Smith. You know, it's super common. I'm sure you're my 52nd cousin down the road some way in the family tree. But
It's like the blue-eyed person. We each come from a single individual.
there you go. Thank you again, Jose. Talk soon, my friend. Oh, Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. Appreciate it. And I'm not trying to be nice, but I want you to know, and I know you lost your father in the last year. I can say this not being nice, but honestly, your parents got to be very, very proud of the kind of person you are and listening to others and the way you conduct yourself that I've seen as a county commissioner and a citizen of this community. And I'm glad your mother decided to move to Schuyler, Nebraska instead of you being a movie star or something. So thank you for your service and your comments.
Thank you, Commissioner Morgan. I think Commissioner Kavanaugh has a light.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I'd particularly like to thank Chairman Garcia and Senor Garcia and everybody from our Hispanic community for making this resolution possible and recognizing the great contribution of the Hispanic community in Douglas County to the well-being of us all. E pluribus unum, from many we get one, is a slogan of the United States of America. We welcome people from all over the world, always have, hopefully always will. My grandparents are immigrants, as you indicated yours are, and as a native-born son of South Omaha, it gives me a special pleasure to note that working together, we've been able to do so much good, including the establishment of the South Omaha Immigrant Historical Museum, which Senor Garcia heads and has done great work in the brief time that it's been up and running. We at Douglas County have been big supporters of that, and we look forward to continuing that relationship to celebrate this strength that we get, this unity that we get out of the contribution of people from all over the world. It's what makes us Americans. It's what makes us great. And thank you for this commemoration of this important month of Hispanic recognition, to the contributions that they've made to us all. Thank you. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Commissioner Kavanaugh. While we set up for our NACO presentation, I'm going to give this copy to Mr. Garcia here quick. So let's go ahead and set up Mr. John Cannon for the presentation.
He doesn't have anything to show.
I'm pretty easy. All right. Good morning. John Cannon, Executive Director of the Nebraska Association of County Officials, also known as NACO. Our business address is 1335 H Street, Lincoln, Nebraska, 68508. Very happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to be on the agenda today. It was a beautiful morning to drive just up the street from Lincoln. The construction was left a little bit to be desired, but that is what it is. Times past, I've come here and I've kind of gone through my very long list of notes, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to make you suffer through that today, but I'll go through what NACO is about very, very quickly. And since this is an agenda, and I think you can ask me questions if you so desire. So please stop me if you need to. But one of the things that there's a misperception as to what NACO actually is. We've been referred to by luminaries such as the governor and folks in the legislature as we're just a lobbying organization. And I think that's fundamentally untrue, and I think it misses the point. NACO is a membership organization that exists for all 93 counties in Nebraska. Advocacy with the legislature and with the state government is only part of what we do. Probably the biggest part of what we do is education, and there's a lot of educational resources that we have for all counties across the state. And I'm just going to go through those resources, and I will touch on the advocacy part in a little bit as well. We have a number of workshops that we have throughout the year, and my purpose for being here is, as I've been here and I've described all these to you before, you guys have attended a lot of these things, but just want to have that reminder in case you say, oh, gosh, that workshop might be interesting. So we have our board workshop, County Board of Commissioners workshop in June of each year. We also pair that with the County Board of Equalization workshop, where we talk about everything involving property tax, which is everyone's favorite subject, I know. We also have a budget workshop that we do in May. Usually it's every other year. Lately we've found the necessity for doing it about every year just because of everything that's been going on with the legislature. We have workshops that we put on for the assessors, the clerks, and the treasurer. Respectively, those are August, June, and June of each year. We have a board chair workshop in February of each year. We have our legislative conference. This year it'll be October 9th in Beatrice. And so one of the reasons I want to put that out there is that if you've ever had an idea is like, here's how the law should work, and I know that we've got a former legislator here that has a lot of ideas on how the law should work. That legislative conference is the opportunity for constituent groups to go in front of the NACO board and say, here's what I think would be a good way to make county government run a little bit more efficiently. And so if you have an idea that you'd like to bring forward to the NACO board, please let me know in advance. I found out the hard way that if you just put someone on the agenda and they say, well, we're just going to talk about something, then there's not anything for the board really to take action on. And so a few years ago, someone said, I'd like to talk about township roads. And Mary Ann, you'll recall, Bill Tilkey got up and said, I just wanted to talk about it. And I'm like, well, there's nothing for the board to do. What are we supposed to do here? So if you do have that idea, and again, county boards, you guys have a unique perspective on how county government runs. And so certainly, we hear from the assessors. They're very well organized. The clerks, the treasurers, clerks of the district court, the sheriffs, the attorneys, they're all very, very well organized. And I want to have you guys have that opportunity as well. We have our annual conference. This year it'll be December 17th through 19th. That'll be in Kearney at the Unis Center North. And there's a lot of information that we bring forward that we want to make actionable for every county in Nebraska. So we're going to have our federal partners are going to be there. We'll have some state partners that are going to be there. We traditionally invite all the members of the legislature to attend so they can workshop with us and fellowship and all that good stuff. So those are the educational workshops that we have, and I think that there's and I wish I can't really do it justice. There's a lot of information that we put out there. We bring speakers from across the country, from across the state, and from our, like I said, from our federal and state partners to have that educational that information that's out there. When I talk about advocacy, there's a number of things that are coming up that affect all 93 counties that I wanted to bring to your attention from the NACO perspective. The first one being with the legislature getting ready to gear up. Our office sits catty corner from the Capitol, and I can tell you in the last month, the stream of people going in and out of the Capitol has started to pick up the pace considerably, and that just reminds me that the session's just around the corner. I'm happy about that, as far as you know. But what that means, though, is that there's a lot of meetings that we've been having about what's coming up. You guys have probably read the papers. You've seen that with the passage of H.R. 1, so-called One Big Beautiful Bill Act. There have been cuts to Medicare, Medicaid, and a number of other things. And the cut for Nebraska is going to be about a $400 million cut. $405 million, I think, is what the estimate is in the last fiscal note that I saw. You couple that with $93 million of receipts that they're down at the Department of Revenue, and you're looking at about $500 million shortfall that they're going to start off with. And so there are a number of things that counties rely on that this will affect, and that it's certainly going to impair. For instance, there is a county bridge match program that we partner with the Department of Transportation. That is probably in jeopardy, so we're going to advocate for that as best we can. But this is a program where the state will match 55% of the funding required to replace a bridge. We've replaced hundreds of bridges across the state in the 8 years that that program has been in effect, and so that's something that we're very, very concerned about. And so, to the extent that you can engage with your senators and say this is a need because of and you guys have a number of bridges in Douglas County, you can find out from your highway superintendent or your county engineer, exactly what the number is, and you can relate that to your state senator. Also, along with that, there's another program that we're very concerned about. It's the Riparian Vegetation Management program. So 2007, the state of Kansas sued the state of Nebraska because we were not delivering adequate water to Kansas for their farmers. There's a compact that we have, and we weren't delivering the requisite amount of acre feet per year to them, and so they sued us. And when states sue each other, they sue at the U.S. Supreme Court. And so that was super exciting, and they sued us for $100 million. There was a number of mitigation efforts that we did. We started spraying for Phragmites. The state funded the purchase of spraying equipment and helicopters and all that good stuff. So we were able to spray for Phragmites in the Republican River Basin. And through negotiation with the state of Kansas, we were able to reduce that $100 million, and they were entitled to those damages down to $5 million because of the mitigation efforts that we took. As you might expect, the state said, this is a really important program, and we're going to fund it, by golly. And then over time, the funding just kind of went down, just quite a bit, to where we're at the point where last year there was $800,000 that was appropriated for it, and that got swept by the governor when we were trying to do the School Property Tax Credit Act. And so these are the sorts of things where we keep our eye on what's going on with the legislature, and there are these forces at work, and they're not dark forces. I mean, it's just economic forces at work that are making it, we're all scrapping for an increasingly vanishing pie. And so those are a couple of programs that front and center are confronting us as an organization that we'll be dealing with in the legislature. There was an Attorney General opinion that you may have heard of from Mr. Goodwillie a couple months ago. And that Attorney General's opinion says that the county assessor could be held criminally liable for trespass if they are on the premises of a property that they're inspecting. Oh, by the way, the county assessor has an obligation, an affirmative duty in statute, it's Nebraska Revised Statute Section 771311.03, to inspect every parcel in the county no less frequently than once every 6 years. And oh, by the way, now they aren't able to do that full inspection that they're supposed to. Now, in Douglas County, where because of the urban environment you have, it's a lot easier for the assessor to be able to get a pretty accurate read on what properties are, because you don't have a lot of rural residential where the house is like half a mile off of the road. But it is an issue across the state, and so that's one of the things that we're going to be working with the legislature on, as far as making sure that our assessors have the tools that they need in order to do the jobs that the legislature has told them they have to do. We've also been working on some legislation involving the pink postcard. I think you guys have your hearing tomorrow, if I'm correct. So congratulations. We'll all be with you in spirit. And a lot of other counties across the state are with you in spirit as well, because they're going through that process right now also. As you guys know, I don't need to tell you, it comes a little bit too late in the process for it to really make much of a difference to our constituents. We've been working with our friends from the legislature and the Platt Institute to find a more reasonable way of producing a postcard that really drives people to where they should go, which is the budget hearings. And that's the thing that we've been saying for the last several years, ever since the pink postcard thing came up. I think we have an opportunity for some headway, but again, this is the sort of thing that, while I might be the most charming person that in my mother's eyes, and I try to be with the legislature, really what makes more of a difference than anything is your engagement with your legislative delegation. And so for things like the pink postcard, make them understand, hey, look, this thing is not working quite the way that you expected it to. It's a fine tool, and transparency is always a good thing, but there's a better way of doing it. And so to the extent that we can have this be a more effective tool for our citizens so they can provide timely input on the budget process, that's really what we're going after on that, as far as that's concerned. There are a number of hearings that are coming up at the legislature through interim studies. On October 3rd, there are going to be 3 of them that are of particular importance, I think. The first one is going to be regarding unfunded mandates. That's Senator Holtcroft. That'll be in the Government Committee. I think that hearing starts at 9:30 in the morning. That afternoon, there's going to be a hearing on Open Meetings Act and public records. That's always something that we're intimately concerned about. And then in the afternoon, there's going to be a hearing in the Revenue Committee on ethanol plant valuations. I don't think you guys have a lot of ethanol here. That's usually in rural Nebraska. But it is something that we're of course very concerned about, because those are pretty big ticket items. As far as other engagement that we've been doing at NACO, one of the things that we've put on at the beginning of this calendar year, we had a property tax workshop that we put on for members of the legislature. I've been working with Senator Von Gillern, the chair of the Revenue Committee, and said, hey, look, there's a lot of stuff that when we go to testify in front of the Revenue Committee is very, very basic stuff, and I usually spend most of my 3 or 5 minutes, depending on how much time you give me, explaining the basics of this. It would be really, really nice if we could just have a workshop where we say, here's how the thing works. Not trying to advocate for anything, but just how property taxes work in general, because as a mentor of mine once said, property taxes are the easiest thing in the world, but they're impossible to explain. You guys probably are very intimately familiar with that as well, having gone through County Board of Equalization recently. So we put on a property tax workshop, and so I had intended that that was going to be for members of the Revenue Committee. Senator Von Gillern said, why don't we invite the freshmen as well? And so all the new senators, he had a number of them. We had 17 people in our conference room, which I thought was fantastic. And then Senator Von Gillern afterwards said, that was awesome, let's do that again. And he said, after the session's over. And so we had Property Tax 101 is what we called it, in August of this year. And the last go around, we had 50 people in our conference room, 25 senators, the actual senators, and then 13 other offices sent at least one staff member. And so we had a ton of people in the conference room to talk about property taxes, everyone's favorite subject. I'm always delighted to talk about it. And among the people that were there, obviously, Senator Von Gillern, the chair of Revenue, the chair of Education was there, the Speaker of the Legislature was there, the chair of Banking and Business and Insurance, or I'm sorry, Business and Labor, Banking and Insurance, Agriculture and Natural Resources. I mean, there are a lot of folks that are very, very keen on what property taxes do for all the sectors of our economy that all attended that workshop for us. One of the other things that we do from an advocacy perspective with the legislature, but also for our citizens and also for our county boards, is we have a thing on our website called the County Explorer. So if you go to nebraskacounties.org, you look under counties, there's a thing that says about counties and County Explorer, Nebraska Counties Explorer, and there's all the information that you might want to know about Douglas County, any other county that surrounds you, any other county that's on the other end of the state, whichever you prefer. We have a research division that has gone through the budgets of every single county across the state of Nebraska. We've cataloged it. We've put it all into some useful information that you can use. We've got some bite-sized chunks. If you want a one-pager, there's a one-pager for Douglas County as well. But there's a ton of information on that County's Explorer, and that really gets to the heart of a lot of the stuff that we do. A lot of people do not understand exactly what county government does, and I'm sure that you guys have seen it as well. And when you go through all the aspects of county government and what it's responsible for, people's eyes really start to open up, and they understand that, gosh, I mean, it's a little bit more than just a pretty courthouse. There's actually some work that gets done, and so we've been putting that information out there as best we can, and we wanted to connect you with that as well. And some other direct resources that we have that are beneficial to counties, ways of saving money and helping you guys do your jobs a little bit better. We've got our NACO Benefit Services. That's our insurance pool that we have. We have a pool, but we also have individual offerings for self-funded programs, and as well as other the individual sort of like pet insurance. I don't think we have pet insurance. I should probably hold my tongue on that. But a number of like accidental death and dismemberment, and all those sorts of add-ons as well. There's a Live Healthy discount program that we partner with the National Association of Counties with. We have a retirement seminar that we're partnering with Nationwide. The webinar is going to be on September 26th. So if you go to our website, we've got information about that. We've partnered with Savvy. I think, Mary Ann, you've kind of spearheaded the Savvy program here in Douglas County as well, so I won't go into that a little bit further. Like I mentioned, we have that legislative conference coming up on October 9th. It'll be in Beatrice. One of the things that we sponsor every year in the month of November is Operation Greenlight to recognize our veterans. We're currently working on a toolkit that will have some actionable things that county boards can do beyond just putting the green light up on the courthouse, which is really kind of cool, but some more things that have a little bit more oomph to them as well for our veteran community. Let's see. We have our award nominations that are coming up for our officials of the year. Please check that out, and if you have someone that you'd like to nominate, please do so. We'd love to see some nominations coming from Douglas County. We also have partnered with the Government Finance Officers Association to come up with risk models. And so, as you know, with LB 34 having passed last year, which fundamentally affects how we do budgets, we no longer have a lid on restricted funds. We have a property tax cap that's based on, it can only go up by slice or 0%, whichever is greater. And so that means that there are going to be some years where 0% is what our property tax request gets to go up. We partnered with GFOA, Government Finance Officers Association, to come up with risk models. And so from a budgeting standpoint, so counties are able to figure out going forward, here are some things that we need to do to figure out what we need to have for a reserve, to figure out where our spending should really be directed. And it's a very good model. We've got 20 pilots that are piloting it right now, 20 counties that are piloting it right now. We're happy to roll that out to whomever is interested. And then one other thing I want to mention is the BEAD program that has the Broadband Equity and Development act that was passed by Congress several years ago that brought $400 million to Nebraska for the development of rural broadband. There's not a lot of rural broadband necessity in Douglas County, but it's still an issue across the state. And for whatever reason, we're going to send about $250 million back to the feds. And that, in an era where we've got increasingly slim margins on the amount of monies that we have at our disposal, it seems like we're leaving money on the table. And the last thing I'd like to mention is that Nebraska is now a 100% state as far as membership in the National Association of Counties. You have 2 members of the board of directors by virtue of Chris and Mary Ann being past presidents of NACO, National NACO. We have a liaison that we put on the board, and then we have a membership liaison that we have on the board as well. So Nebraska punching above its weight, as always. We have 4 members of a 150-member board of directors, I think. And also I will also add that in the 90 years that NACO has been electing presidents at their annual conference, Nebraska has had 4 of them. We had Gene Meredith out in Kimball County back in the 40s, and then we've had three presidents that all came from Douglas County. With that, I've gone through an awful lot of stuff. I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
All right. Thank you, John, for joining us today. Any questions, Commissioner Kavanaugh?
Thank you. Thanks for this, John. A couple of quick questions. The interim study resolution on unfunded mandates that you indicated is set for a hearing on the 3rd?
October 3rd, yes, sir.
What's the number of that resolution?
I think that's LR 192.
192?
192, yes, sir.
Thank you. The legendary American humorist Will Rogers once said that Congress is adjourned, the people are safe. And some people feel the same way about the legislature. The legislature's adjourned, and you breathe a sigh of relief. The only fly in that ointment would be a special session. What do you hear about that?
So we had every month the NACO board has a Zoom call with the governor, and in, I think it was May of this year, we had a call with the governor, and that question was put to him directly, like, you're not getting through the things that you wanted to, Governor. I'm sorry. We are hearing that there's talk of maybe having a special session, and the governor said, well, do you know who gets to call a special session? That would be me, and I can tell you right now, I'm not intending to call a special session. Now, that was in May. Things have changed. We passed H.R. 1. That means, which is going to give us a $400 million cut in funding from the feds, and so you would think that there would be some talk about maybe having a special session, but I've been in the Capitol every day for the last several weeks, and no one is talking about a special session at this point. I breathe a sigh of relief. For what it's worth, just as a very personal aside, my wife had never been to the Tetons before, and so for Christmas 2 years ago, I got her a trip. We're going to go, and it was going to be the first weekend of August, and on July 27th of last year, Jim Pillen, governor, said, we're having a special session. It starts tomorrow. So the best laid plans of mice and men, right? So, but we got to go in June, so that worked out. But the point is that special sessions wreak havoc on a lot of people's schedules, not just my personal schedule, but for a lot of people. And trying to juggle that many schedules at once, with there being no word of one happening, I really doubt that one's going to happen this year.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Commissioner Friend.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. John, yeah, thanks for coming down. That drive from Lincoln's arduous. I know that. You did mention those interim studies or hearings, unfunded mandates, a hearing on open meetings, ethanol plant valuations, stuff like that. You get a little bird's telling you anything related to potential analysis of recodification of the sales or income tax systems in the state of Nebraska? Nothing, as far as you know?
So there's been talk about doing things with local option sales tax that doesn't really affect us. Since you mentioned it, Commissioner, the governor in his call-in show yesterday, let me backtrack. A week ago at Husker Harvest Days, the governor, apropos of nothing, just said, oh, by the way, we need to get rid of the inheritance tax. You should contact your senator. And so that kind of gave me the signal that he may not be pushing for it, but he certainly would like to have something done with the inheritance tax. That is what it is. At his call-in show yesterday, so there was a caller that called in and said something about the inheritance tax and about property taxes. And the governor said, well, we got to find different ways of revenue for the counties because all they have is the property tax and a little bit of inheritance tax. And he said, I'm on record as not liking either of them. And this fellow from Buffalo County had said, well, we just lost our bond election to have a co-located facility for our sheriff and the police department. What about a countywide sales tax? And the governor said, well, I don't think the counties get to do that. And the caller said, well, yeah, they actually do, but they can't do it if the city has their own sales tax. And the governor said, well, gosh, we should probably fix that. And I thought, okay, I need to call Lynn Rex, my counterpart at the League of Municipalities. But that was something that the governor just put out on the table. And then he specifically mentioned, I have a call with NACO every month, and this is something I'm going to discuss with them. So, there's that. But on sales tax, as far as a special session is concerned, nothing about that. As far as the next session is concerned, they do want to expand the sales tax base.
Well, John, that's pretty good information, and from an analytical standpoint, I can. It almost seems like I can see where the governor, where his mind is going. But here's the thing, and you've heard me bloviate about it. I think everybody has, and they're tired of it. The revenue all throughout the state of Nebraska being generated for governmental subdivisions and tax money being generated, 40% of it comes from property tax.
Yep.
Approximately 18% comes from sales tax. So I can tell you that until somebody gets the intestinal fortitude to actually take an archaic sales tax system and decides to actually recodify it, we're going to come up, as long as I'm here, you're going to come up every year and you're going to say, well, but guess what? They're attacking something else. When you go door to door around this area, the first thing people will bring up to you as a candidate is going to be, what are you going to do about my property taxes? What they're missing is that we have an unfair tax system in the state of Nebraska. This is my lecture. Pam Redfield, years ago, stood up there and said, we're recodifying the sales tax system. She got excoriated. She actually got pounded down. The lobby is strong. John, I don't see a way out. They're going to keep picking and prodding, and sales and property tax is a problem, but it's a problem because of the extracurricular activity that we have going on with our tax systems. So I'll have a conversation off the side with you later on. I'd love to hear some of the whispering down there. Thank you, John.
Yeah, well, I had a conversation with Senator Bosling yesterday. We were in her office to talk about something else, and she wanted to talk about taxes, and because everyone seems to want to talk about that. And one of the things that she said was, we've got to find different revenue streams for not just counties, but the schools and et cetera. And so, there's a recognition that we have to find different revenue streams. And when you say, well, gosh, what about these? That it would seem like a terrible idea to get rid of something like the inheritance tax, which is a different revenue stream. And they're like, oh, no, we didn't mean that. And so that's all it is what it is. But at the end of the day, I mean, you've got a certain amount of revenue that you need to keep the county running, right? Period. I mean, that is what it is. Last year, Nebraska counties levied $965 million of property tax. About $93 million of receipts, and so you have a pretty rough idea as to what it costs. Just over $1 billion to run 93 county governments across the state. And if you want to take away from the property tax or the inheritance tax, you've got to replace it with something else. Because I can tell you, I mean, we've looked at your budget and every other budget across the state. It's we're not putting diamond dust in with the gravel. Or the asphalt. We're not gold plating the road graders. I mean, we're there's a lot of counties that live on a shoestring budget. Douglas County, you guys don't, but you're not spending extravagantly. And so when it comes down to it, to have the governmental services that we require, that Nebraskans demand, you have to replace the revenue somehow, one way or the other.
Let me go
John,
to
thanks.
Yep, thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner Rogers.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. John, by chance, did the Omaha article about did the World Herald article about Omaha job growth lagging among Midwest cities, did that make it up in the Lincoln Journal, or did you see it by chance?
No, I saw the headline, and I couldn't get past the paywall.
Okay, I'm just curious. So what is the chatter about the business incentive plan being redone? Is there any chatter on that?
Haven't heard anything.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Let me go to Commissioner Kavanaugh.
Sorry,
Are you good? Okay. Commissioner Friend? Or is your
Oh,
light?
sorry.
We're having some technical issues today. Commissioner Borgeson?
Thanks, John. When you talked about the bridges, there was a study done on how many bridges across the state needed to be replaced, how old they were, and then kind of the amount of money that was needed to do that. Can you resend that? And is it been updated at all as to how many have been replaced since that study?
Yeah, there's information on the Department of Transportation's website that we're linked right into, and I can send you that information.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Anybody else on the presentation today? Yes.
Just one more on the unfunded mandates. I mean, there's also been numerous studies across the years on those unfunded mandates. And while I think it's good to continually talk about those, I hope that we can, again, make a bigger impression on the senators on what those mean to counties. And do you know if I was just talking to our legislative guy here, Marcos, is that a invite only?
It is invited testimony only. If I can see if I can get an invitation for you if you'd like.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's important for us, one of the largest counties, to
Absolutely.
be there and talk about what that means to our budgets.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. I think Marcos had a quick question.
Mark San Martin, Douglas County Administration. I would just add a clarification or a correction for the board. So the two interim studies that we were discussing, LR 192, that's the Open Meetings Act interim study. LR 195, that's the unfunded mandate interim study.
I switched those around, didn't I?
Yeah, so I was just going to clarify that. So yeah, 192 is the Open Meetings Act, and 195 is the unfunded mandates. That's all.
Got it. Thank you. And I think we had a comment from Larry.
Do I sit down? Yes.
Larry Storr, 5015 Lafayette, Omaha, 68132. I'd like to comment on the power that county governments and association of county governments, et cetera, have amassed in this country. But we all took an oath this morning to that flag and the Constitution. You take an oath when you swear into your office to support the Republic, the Constitution. It's not just a republic, it's a unique compound constitution republic. Unique, not like any other republic, not even a democratic republic. But they designed a system to share government because we fought a tyrannical king to get freedom back from that tyrannical king here in the colonies because we had no representation. Well, today is a great example of you don't have very many citizens in this room, do you? Because why? The power has been amassed by you and people like the National Association of Nebraska Counties, but there's a National Association of Federal Counties. And you all talk to each other in here, but you don't really listen to us. The federal government designed this place, the county and each state, each county, to be the main place for the citizens to affect their government. It's for us. It's not for you. You're not sovereign. We are sovereign. And quite frankly, the sheriff of this county has more power than you do in terms of representing the citizens of this county. Frown if you like, but that's the way it is, sir. Read the Founding Fathers' words, please, and go back to honoring the actual intent. So get back some of the power to the citizens, let them have more time at these meetings and more questions. The rules that you guys make and the city council make have shut people out of here. It's no longer a place for the people, but that's what it's intended for. And then the Declaration of Independence, what does it tell you? It says when your government is not, does not, and will not, it is the right of the people to alter or change that government. There's only one way we can practically do that, and that's by mass recall. However, the county election commissions control everything, see? Well, I'm just about done, but we have a president that's shaking things up. So any day now, we may hear that we're going after the election process. We want to send it back to the precinct where it was supposed to be. Vote in the precinct, count in the precinct, paper ballots, no mail-in ballots, and there's nobody there that's hiding the counting process, because we hire people in the precinct to do that work, and only paper ballots, et cetera. That's going to occur, and it's going to be announced any day now. So get ready for it. Ask the counties to help do that and get back to what the founding fathers intended. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on the presentation today? Is that a light, Mr. Morrison? Yep.
I just have to comment to make sure that the citizens know that our elections are safe and secure, and any degrading of trying to take away a way for citizens to vote is voter suppression. So I have voted by mail for years and years and years since it came out and have had no problem, and I just want the citizenry to know that our elections run by county officials, and many, actually, we just, Commissioner Chair Garcia and I just recognized, as did this board, those volunteers that come and work, our poll workers that work our elections. And so please just remember that they are safe and secure, and there's no mass fraud in our elections. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that might be it for the presentation today. Thank you, John, again for driving up to Omaha. Appreciate you. And we're going to proceed on our agenda here today into our committees. Section 8, under Finance, we had the budget report as presented, as well as our monthly fee report, also as presented. Under Human Resources, we have our weekly personnel report from Civil Service as presented. And we do have a need for executive session today for the purpose of legal advice and contract negotiation. Do I have a motion and a second? Motion by Rogers, second by Morgan to go into executive session. Please vote.
Commissioner Borgeson? Yes. Commissioner Kavanaugh? Yep. Yes, vote yes for Commissioner Fahey? Yes. Commissioner Friend? Yes. Commissioner Morgan?
Yes.
Commissioner Rogers? Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Yes, the board will now go into executive session for the purpose of legal advice and contract negotiation.
And adjourn by Commissioner Garcia, second by Commissioner Morgan. Motion passes 4-0. Commissioners Kavanaugh, Fahey, and Rogers are absent. We're adjourned at 12:03 p.m.